to Cairns. This is Thursday night WNBL.
Keep the flame on max. I'ma keep it going till there ain't none left. Going till there ain't none. Keep the flame on max. I'ma keep it going till there ain't none left. Going till there ain't none. Keep the flame on max. I'ma keep it going till there ain't none left. Going till there ain't none. Keep the flame on. Keep the flame on. Keep the flame. Keep the flame. Keep the flame on.
There's some of the shots that our cameras caught from earlier on today. Another fabulous day in Cairns. Queensland have been such an outstanding host of WNBL 20, and no wonder that all the players aren't in a rush to go home. Take a look at that atmosphere and take a look at that environment, and we are building up towards what is now the back end of WNBL 20. Just 17 regular games left after tonight, and this one a very important one for both the Sydney Uni Flames and the Melbourne Boomers. Jack Heverin joined by dual Olympian Jenny Screen. Jenny, good to see you, and this is an important one for the Flames tonight, this.
It is. They are actually coming off 2 losses in a row, but on the other flip side of the coin, you've got Melbourne Boomers who are just starting to find a little bit of a groove. Maddie Garrick coming back into the starting lineup, but it's going to be an interesting contest tonight.
So here's how the Flames will line up. They've been tinkering with things a little bit, and this is the 5 they're going with this evening.
Yeah, they've actually taken Funda Nakasoglu, to the bench, and Annalie Maley, who had a huge 20 rebound game recently, into the lineup. Her defensive, experience will allow them to hopefully shut down some of the bigs on the Melbourne Boomer side, but it's going to be a tough task for the undermanned Sydney Flames this afternoon.
And the Melbourne Boomers, will talk about their last performance, but simply impressive. Their starting 5 has been very steady all season long.
Indeed. It's nice to see Maddie Garrick finally finding some form. 5 of 6 from deep in their last game against the UC Caps the other night. And Ashley Caratiana, she's been the surprise packet for me for the Melbourne Boomers. I think she's going to add another little bit of X factor. And then off the bench, we've got the New Zealand tall ferns, basically, and Stella Beck will actually add some firepower as well, and obviously some two-way defence.
So the big question coming out of the win for the Boomers over Canberra, who were on a 7-game winning streak prior to Tuesday's, what do we take away, and what are the Boomers taking into tonight? I
think it's exciting to know that when you have a little bit of a break, that it can actually play dividends, and that's what happened for the Melbourne Boomers. Take nothing away from the UC Caps. I think they've been superb, the way Coach Goris has handled their team, the older veterans in Tolo and obviously Griffin as well. But Melbourne Boomers, they're looking for consistency, and they haven't started well in most of their games this season, so hopefully that's something they're going to rectify tonight.
Big challenge for the Sydney Flames, no question about it. Megan Huswaite is part of our coverage tonight, and a short time ago she caught up with Alison Schwagmeyer-Belger to talk about what they'll do differently tonight.
Yeah, I think we came out and we gave a lot of energy in the Townsville game, so we're just wanting to build on that energy and come out and give everything we have. I think that's our thing for every game. We just want to give as much energy as we can.
Sydney have played well in patches throughout this campaign, but a 4-quarter effort has been the one thing you haven't been able to really produce. How important is that against a side like Melbourne?
Oh my goodness, against a team like Melbourne or any team, we have to be able to put our 4 quarters together. Like you said, we go in really great patches, and then we'll have like 3 minutes on where maybe we don't go as great, and so that is our goal going into this game. It's been our goal trying to go in the last few games, but we're really trying to focus on this game, putting together 4 quarters of our quality Sydney basketball.
You do have a very busy schedule here in Cairns over the next few days. How will the team try and approach it?
I think we just have to take it one game at a time. I don't really think there's another way we can take it, so we just have to focus on the Sydney Flames today, and then we'll get to our next game on Friday. I don't know. Soon.
Something like that.
Very soon. Saturday, I think.
Could someone please get Kalani Purcell a fixture?
I don't think it really matters. All they need to know is they've got a game probably every 48 hours or thereabouts.
Our referees for this evening, all ready to go as well. Jack Taylor, Jason Kelly, Kalia Hanks. I mentioned it before, Jenny. I was sitting there today doing the maths. 17 regular season games to go. We knew that it would be a whirlwind, but we're very nearly on the doorstep of finals now.
I know, it's scary to think, and we've only been up in the league. It's been running for 3 weeks. It's just crazy to think that we're over the halfway mark, and if the Sydney Flames are to be any a chance to push in contention of getting top 4. They're sitting 2 and 6 right now. A couple of wins are very vital for them.
This is a huge one for Sydney tonight, no question about that. Katrina Hibbert will know that. Her starters will know that. They're going to have to play some big minutes. For the Melbourne Boomers, 3rd on the table at the moment, 5 wins and 2 losses, and obviously the win over Canberra was probably one of the highlights of their season so far. A win tonight could go a long way to consolidating that top 4 spot.
Considering this is their 2nd of 5 games in 8 days, it's massive that they just start to get some collective wins together, and consistency from not only the starters. I think Ezzy Magbagor and Kayla Francis George, I should say, has been doing a great job, but just the guards, I think they're lacking a little bit of punch and confidence, but hopefully this week is the turnaround for them, because, hey, in a week's time, we're almost near finals.
We certainly are. So the Sydney Flames, one of their last 6 games, they've been successful. They need to turn that around tonight. Loose start to the game. Boomers ball. Annalie Maley, you see there, into the starting lineup tonight. Rebounding machine. Jenny, you mentioned that game of 20 rebounds in their win over Adelaide.
This is showing my age, but I remember watching her at an under-16 Australian Junior Championships back in Adelaide. And she was playing for Victorian Metro, and I just remember watching this young workhorse, blue collar. Every rebound was hers, and obviously that's continued throughout her professional career now as a senior. She's
guarding Tess Madgen. She's got the ball on the floor, goes to work on Maley, used her body well, couldn't finish off, got it back. And Caratiana with a chance to drive and go to work. She does exactly that. Boomers on the board first. What a pickup she's been this season.
Yeah, just popped out of Queensland. Obviously came back from a child last year, giving birth as well, or thereabouts, and she's been a surprise packet for them. I think she's contributed both ends of the floor, and you know, we've seen that she can shoot from deep, and it's nice to see that she can put it on the deck as well, which makes it harder for her to be defended.
And Maley up the other end, tough move, couldn't get it to go. And now Madgen off to the races, looks to the corner, has Caratiana, bang! Boomers away to a fast start.
54-24.
She's got all 5 of their points. Down low to Scherf, good move, off the window. She can't get it to go either. Great to be involved in Lifeline round, a fantastic initiative by the WNBL. All of the players warming up in Lifeline shirts tonight, leading the way. And we'll have more on that across the night for you as well. George for 2 more.
7 points to Melbourne Boomers, 0 to Sydney Flames. Probably not the start Katrina Hibbert would want it. They had a great look in their last play with Lauren Scherf on the low block. Hopefully they can get some points on the board here with some ball movement.
Swing to Maley in the corner, showing good intent, but another tough move, and Boomers stand up defensively. Let's get down to Megan.
No managed minutes for Sydney captain Lauren Mansfield. This season she played all 40 minutes on Sunday against Townsville, but Fundi Nakasoglu is back from a niggle and will be an important part of the rotation tonight.
Thank you, Megan. 30 minutes a game for Lauren Mansfield.
And to be honest, I think this is one of the best seasons she's had in the WNBL. She's been around for a while now, had a couple of seasons with the Perth Lynx, has played for Adelaide, has travelled the shores in Australia and abroad, and it's nice to see her being consistent and playing consistent type of basketball this season. A lot of ownership in that point guard role, predominantly more of a leadership role as well, and her numbers are speaking volumes in terms of her contributions. 12 points and 5 assists is a good one for her.
Good hands to tip it out of play there too. Sydney have got some issues offensively so far. A bit dysfunctional. It's taking nothing away from the Boomers defensively as well. They've been tight. Madgen. Hands off to Magbagor underneath. Those long levers of Ezzy come up strong, and this is all one-way traffic to start this game. We've only been going a few minutes, and Katrina Hibbert wants to talk about it. Timeout with 7:12 to play in the first.
You beat me to it here. You took the words right out of my mouth. Too long, too strong is Ezzy Magbagor down low. Nice little pick and roll deviation happening on the weak side. Just allowed for the defense to lose sight of Ezzy in the block and allowed the 2 points on the board.
So where's it breaking down for Sydney, Jenny?
Defensively, I don't think it's, obviously there's a lot of off-ball movement. They just need to make sure they're wary in terms of the split line and where the ball is. a little bit more aggression, I think, would be perhaps denying the wing passes and getting up in the lanes, a bit more physical. Offensively, standing still way too much. A little bit more quicker on ball movement, a little bit more intensity on their cuts and be a bit more assertive there to allow things to happen. And then making sure their shots fall. Lauren Scherf, we know that she has the capability to be dominant in this league, and again, time after time, she's missing those little rim sitters all the time. They're the second worst in the league in terms of shooting percentage, 36%. They can't shoot like this against the Melbourne Boomers, Jack.
No, they cannot. The teams played in round 1 of the season. On that night, it was Melbourne 85, Sydney 70. And on that night, the shooting percentages were a big difference. Melbourne shot the basketball at 47%, Sydney at 32%.
But in actual fact, the first half was great basketball. Sydney kept with them for almost, 2 to 3 quarters, and then slowly fatigue, and obviously the experience and the calibre of players that Melbourne has had just showed that lead, and obviously that experience shone through.
So what can the Flames show us out of the timeout? Good hands, Magbagor. Couldn't quite come up with it. She's always present defensively. Megan Huswaite was having a listen to Katrina Hibbert. How were the blood pressure of
We're
Katrina?
not in the We're not in the holiday zone, ladies, was the opening from Katrina Hibbert. She needs Lauren Scherf to be more of a presence on Kayla George, and urged all of her players to get their defensive matchups right.
Well, that'll help from Swagmeyer Belgium.
They're not on a holiday, but boy, they're in a great part of Australia. On their days off, they're definitely enjoying the sun. From the socials that I've seen, all the ladies up there, I'm a tad jealous to be frank.
And hello to the Flyers, who clearly had a day off today. So Melbourne by 7. Smaley picks up her first foul. Caratiana had the first 5 points for the Boomers. Imagine gets through the double up. George from deep hits the front of the rim and misses out. There's Maley on the glass. I think we'll say that a few times tonight. They're trying to swing the ball around at least and get it through a number of hands. Scherf almost lost her dribble. Shot clock now into single figures for Swagmeyer Belger. Still a long way from the cup. Burton will have to force it up. Somehow they made it work.
That's
through
cool.
sheer hard work from Annalie Maley.
Yeah, exactly. Sheer hard work and making something of nothing, I think, is the definition there. Ezzy got a hand and blocked Nat Burton's shot, but Annalie Maley doing what she does well is finding her hands to that ball and offensive rebound. And to be honest, the Flames lead the league in terms of O boards this season, but great job there down low by the big girl.
Points are good from Magbagor.
Nice little feed from one sister to another. And just Scherf just standing upright in her stance here, allowing Ezzy to use her body and her strength, and too easy down low.
One shot.
Lauren Scherf was stuck on an island there. Magbagor had all of the answers. As Tess Madgen comes out of the game. It's been a really good season for Melbourne. Been a huge part of their leadership and steady hand. It's Mansfield trying to get creative. But again, shot clock inside single figures and nothing really to work with for Sydney. Maley for the treble. And Burton picks up a foul on the way through too. There's just nothing happening at that end for Sydney.
Everyone's a little bit stagnant. Lauren Mansfield is being her assertive self that we've seen in previous 8 games from the Sydney Flyers. And, it was a good look, great penetration from Alison Swagmeyer-Belger, but just nothing really happening. No staggers away, no screening action, which allows for shots that are poor in choices.
Stella Beck comes in to help run the point for the Boomers. Garrick in the corner. Can't make that one go down. Big rebound, Magbagor. She's having a major influence on this game early.
She is indeed, and Sydney Flames are in a bit of a 3-2 zone there, and that's the unfortunate thing when you play a zone. You're going to give things up. Sometimes it's a 3-point shot like we see there in the replay from Maddie Garrick, but it's also that. It's the offensive reboundings because you're not manned up to be able to box someone out, and unfortunately with length of Ezzy Magbagor, who also had a double-double the other night against the UC Caps, is going to get opportunities like that to pump the stat sheet.
So Annalie Maley has to sit down with 2 fouls, which is a big blow early for Sydney. Magbagor underneath. Good find too from Stella Beck. They're firing on all cylinders in the first quarter, the Boomers. Magbagor quickly up to 7 on 3 of 3 shooting. Mansfield backs it out. And again, they're back to square one here. She'll settle from deep. All Boomers at the fall. 4:32 to play in the opening quarter. Swing to Garrick. Misses out again from deep. So a couple of good looks for Maddie Garrick early on. She can't make work. It's a strong move from Swagmire Belgium. Picks up the foul on Garrick, her first.
Offensively, the Sydney Flames have to be a little bit smarter. The last play down the floor, as we see a little bit of a push here from Allison, which is great for their transition running downhill. But their last play, they had a mismatch with Lauren Scherf, and instead of going in and sitting her backside in the keyway and posting up, she decided to spread, and Lauren going against Ezzy, to me, is not a win for them. It's Lauren Scherf down low with a guard on her and getting 2 points on the board.
Flames turn it over out of the inbound. Madgen back in, Garrick out. Karina Davidson in for her first minutes as well. This is better from Sydney. They've found a way beyond halfway now, Melbourne. Madgen and George work together. And the Flames should get an easy bucket here. Better defensive pressure, and they come up with a result.
It's interesting, you know, some of the coaches or cliches out there, good defense allows for better offense, whether that was the turnover of the Melbourne Boomers, because I think it was a missed catch, but either way, it allows Sydney Flames to close that deficit a little bit.
Madgen with the response.
Or not.
Splash. Number 2 of the Boomers this year for points. Tess Madgen, 17 a game. Number 1 for assists. Has been a really, really good pickup for them in the off-season. Swagmire Belger baseline. Mansfield, good find underneath for Burton. A better couple of minutes here for the Flames.
Absolutely, Jack. A little bit more aggressive on the offensive end. Crisper passes, more assertive on their cuts, allows for the defense to actually have to play, which means there's going to be slip-ups like there just was and opportunities to score.
Meanwhile, Melbourne just having a few communication issues. Izzy Wright with the shot clock ticking down. Has to work with Davison. That'll do. She gets her first points. Mansfield had the lane open up for her and couldn't finish off as well. And Madgen gets through a couple of Sydney defenders. There's Davidson in the low block. Swings to the top now for George. Stella Beck dribbles past Scherf, a little too easy.
She's very crafty like that. She has this ability to do this nice little long scooping shot with a Euro step. I love the way she penetrates Stella Beck.
Another St Mary's graduate. Been such a fabulous school for both our men's and women's players. Mansfield steps back for 2. She's starting to work her way into the game now. So 11 points the difference, inside 2 minutes to play. Megan, I think you might have spotted some basketball royalty in the crowd, have you not?
I sure have. The fierce female coaches out and about tonight. Australian Opals coach Sandy Brondello taking in the game with her assistant with the Opals and Southside head coach Cheryl Chambers, and also Tracy York from the Bendigo Spirit. I'm sure they're enjoying the contest and providing lots of support too to Katrina Hibbert, their fellow female coach in the WNBL.
Well, we spoke to Sandy last week when she was in isolation, and she said, I'm just looking forward to getting to a game. So now she gets a good chance, and a lot of the Opals, Jenny, get a good chance to impress her.
They do.
In the same gym.
And you can just see then that errant pass from Natalie Burton into the post, and you can see Sandy sitting there and she's rolling her eyes. Typical coach, you know, oh my goodness, what was that? But from Sandy's perspective, it's great that she has the opportunity to be out here and watch these girls. And then you've got to ask the question, okay, what does that mean to the players? Does it add a little bit more pressure and expectation? We've seen Steph Talbot last couple of games, hasn't been great. You know, Sandy was there last night. Or does it make you raise the bar and go, hey, coach, I'm here. Select me in your squad for Tokyo?
Magbagor, right place, right time. She leads all scorers. Straight back into the game and with impact immediately. Nakasoglu out there for her first minutes. And Swagmire Belger will back it out and they'll start again. Shot clock down to 7. Got rid of Magbagor and finishes with a hand in the face.
That was tough. That was great defense by Ezzy, considering she was on a smaller matchup, but just better offense there by Allison. Great job.
She's really taking the responsibility on tonight for Sydney, and they needed to do that. Garrick's had a quiet first quarter, had a couple of looks, but hasn't been able to knock it down. I fancy that she travelled there. Turnover for the Boomers. Nakasoglu huge in their win over Perth. 27 points on 10 of 16 shooting that night. Flames would love for her to catch fire this evening. Here's Rowe. Tried to find Nakasoglu in the corner. Credit to Izzy Wright, who was up to it and has got it away. Good D from the Flames. Get the ball back. One last chance for Swagmire Belger. It all opens up. She's fouled. Good drive.
Nice drive. Pull-up would have been probably a better option, but either way, she was able to draw the contact and see the turnover by the Boomers here. Great little hands in from the Sydney Uni Flames, and then Swagmire on the downhill off to the races and finds herself to the foul line to hopefully just reduce that deficit a little bit more, knocking down these two shots heading into the end of the first quarter.
Makes the first. 14 points and 5 assists against the Fire on Sunday.
See, if she had have shot it, she would have been like, give me the ball back. I deserve another shot.
Just sorting the clock out in the background. 1.1 left.
One shot here.
And rattles the second one home. Boomers will try and throw up a prayer. Wright couldn't even get it away. So the Flames finished the quarter well. They didn't start it well, but they certainly finished it well. At quarter time, it's the Boomers who lead by 25-14. Chemist Warehouse. Shooting the three-point ball at 44%. And she's been big in the first quarter for the Boomers, who lead 25-14 from Cairns. What'd you make of the opening quarter, Jenny?
Look, I thought the Boomers got off to a great start. We know that that's something they wanted to be better at, considering their first few games of the season haven't been that great, and starting, they're always chasing their tails, so that's been good. The other side of the table, the Sydney Uni Flames, not a great start from them. I'd love to see them crash the O boards a little bit more. They got none to their tally, and also be a little bit more physical on the defensive end. You know, the Melbourne Boomers are getting too many easy shots, shooting at 75% clip from the field.
Akasoglu down low to Bogue. That's a wild pass. Sister to sister. Let's get to Megan. She was listening in at quarter time.
Well, we've spoken about the star-studded assistant coaches through the WNBL, and the Boomers have a former head coach as their assistant in Larissa Anderson, and she's sort of doing the pre-show for Guy Malloy this season with the opening address at the breaks, and her message to the Boomers was arms out and mouths open. And what she meant by that was she wants plenty more talk from the Boomers in the second quarter.
Arms out, mouths open. I don't mind that. Bogue pulls up from the free throw line. Misses, that's Carly Bogue. Christina's out there too at the moment also. The Boomers turn it over. There's Larissa Anderson. Pretty handy assistant coach to have at your disposal, isn't it, for Guy Malloy?
Yeah, as is Paul Flynn. They've been there a couple of years now. He's a head coach at Nunawading, the NBL 1 women's team, and they obviously make a good unit. They know how each other rolls, and you know, Larissa was also a credible WNBL player herself. Had a great career with Bulleen, I should say.
Nice hands from Magin. Shot clock just about to tick away in the background here for Sydney. 1.3 to be exact. And they couldn't get it away.
And I think that would be a coach's worst nightmare. Not knowing the clock is really poor from a professional team, and the likes of that. Froggy would not be happy that they didn't have a play ready in order to get a shot up with 1.3 seconds.
Some more pleasing signs at the back end of the first quarter from Sydney, as we spoke about, but still a 13-point difference. Annalie Maley on the bench with 2 fouls. She was big for them early, but has to sit for a period of time. Garrick down low to Magbagor. Extra pass to George. She couldn't finish off. Sydney dodged a bit of a bullet. And Nakasoglu got rid of Magin and lays it up. Nice move.
Nice, and because she's had that 27-point game, and we know that she's a bit of a sharp shooter from beyond the arc, you have to close out really hard on her, which then allowed, you know, you saw that little hesitation and then nice little penetration to the bucket.
Speaking of shooters, Maddie Garrick lands her first of the night.
Oh, she was 5 or 6 of the other 9. Sydney Flames, I'm sure, have that on the scout in terms of having to defend her, but that hurts the Sydney Flames. Have a great play down one end, and it's just deja vu. They just get, you know, beaten down the other end.
Good hands from Karatiana, and good running in the lanes by Garrick too. And Melbourne give themselves a handy buffer once more. They've scored the last 5 points. Scherf, a wild pass. Can't find Christina Bogue. The ball's definitely going through more hands for Sydney, Jenny, but there's still that lack of fluency for them.
Yeah, I mean, there's that intent and the purpose, and you obviously would have had the right idea, but, you know, Lauren Scherf, they're running a bit of flow action, trying to get some continuity and some movement, but just not even squaring up and recognising the situation and leading to the 6th turnover for Sydney Flames.
Karatiana spinning, shovel it up. Nice rebound by Burton. Loose ball falls to the Flames. Burton had a good seal on Magbagor, but just never really got Ezzy covered. Good hustle from Burton to get back on the boards, and they swing out Swagmeyer Belger off target. They're getting repeat looks at it, which is good from a Sydney point of view, and that's pretty handy too from Nakasoglu.
Those points belong to Nat Burton, in my opinion, in terms of our hustle there, that want going after 2 offensive rebounds there to allow the Sydney Flames that opportunity.
George unsuccessful. Sydney almost turn it over. And a foul called on George. She'll say that it was clean. Official thought otherwise.
One angle was clean. Just have a look at that left arm. Just a little bit of a hug to Scherf. Probably nothing in it at all, but obviously enough for the referees to call that.
So Guy Malloy calls a timeout. 6:27 to play in the second. Boomers lead 32-18. Also, from the last time they played, Jenny, one of the glaring numbers when we went back and look at it today, 52 points in the paint that night to 22 for the Boomers. They just got it done inside.
Yeah, they did, and they were massive. Thus far tonight, not too big a difference, 18-14 thus far in the second quarter. But it'll be interesting to see what Katrina Hibbert's going to do as they come out of this timeout.
We're going to pin down. Yeah, you're going to be here. You'll be this side. Lauren, you're setting the pin down. Mansfield, you're coming off for that. If Lauren, there's nothing there, flash back to the elbow. Let's play and play a gets and play off of that. Ladies, the lanes open up when there's movement and we execute on that second and third side. Be ready for a catch and shoot. All right, you've had a couple where you kind of pass it up. All right, defensively, one possession, go with 3 off this and then go back to a man. They're trying to post up our small guards to see the help. Get it done, ladies. 3 stops, 2 points at a time. We are. Small things, small charge.
I like it. I like the control. I like the poise in her voice, and you know, not getting flustered by the scoreline, and knowing that, you know, there's only 2 girls I think returning from the Sydney Flames. The rest are new. They're new. They're a new team. They've only had a 4-week pre-season, and that's actually Kayla George's mum there on the left-hand side, and nice to see her being able to watch her daughter play live, which she wouldn't get much of an opportunity. But credit to Katrina Hibbert. Let's see what the Flames can do now with what she said.
Burton settled for the mid-range jumper. A strong rebound by George. I suppose that's a benefit for Kayla being back up here playing her basketball. The family are nice and close.
Well, she does live in Cairns.
Yeah.
I know she has a home there and loves it up north, and got her 2 dogs.
Garrick lost the handle there. Mansfield, numbers aren't in her favour. She took on Madgen and went straight up and knocked it out of bounds.
And again, I love the push and the surge here, but then just recognise, you know, Tess is the bigger guard. Perhaps it's a pull-up J at the foul line, or keep your dribble alive, pull out and get a set happening.
Flames a bit sloppy from the inbound. They give it back to the Boomers. Madgen tries to get baseline. Good D from Mansfield. Forced her to kick it out to Garrick. Second treble of the quarter for Maddie Garrick now.
Right place at the right time. Nice to see Maddie Garrick shift on the offensive weak side there. She saw Tess penetrate, just got into the right spot to be able to be seen by her and gets her, obviously, 3 points to her name.
Nakasoglu missed out with her attempt from deep. Boomers 35, Sydney 18. As hard as Sydney are trying, they can't make inroads in the deficit. 2 more for Madgen.
Timeout, Blue.
And Katrina Hibbert calls a timeout. It was only a couple of minutes ago that she was giving instructions to her charges. Now she calls the timeout, and well, alarm bells ringing from a Sydney perspective here, Jenny Screen.
Yeah, well, that's just sloppy D. You know, there's no way to sugarcoat that. You can't play defense like that at this level against the caliber of players it is. At least get in stance, at least get an opportunity to have a go at containing that, or foul. You know, you're not in foul trouble, so perhaps that's the other opportunity you got to do. But she wouldn't be happy with that. No doubt that's the reason why she's called the timeout, because they can't play that way and expect to close the deficit, because they're not scoring down the other end either.
Yeah. But you got to bump and get back because she's a shooter. All right, everyone else off the ball. So we're going to have to go to 3. Maylee's got 2. Active hands. Pick the ball up early. See if we can't get some steals again. Deflections, so active hands. But we've got to score. We've got to put the ball in the hole. Relax. All right, so let's go a flicker here and look at your Flames. All right, show your hands if they're holding you. But we've got to go. You can't expect them to call everything. Here you go. Get the ball off the ground. Move the ball. Yeah. 2 points at a time. 3 stops. Let's go. We are. Flames. All right, go 3 until Loz calls it off.
12 points to 4 in this quarter.
That hurts, and it's deja vu, because that was exactly the score. I think at the 7-minute mark of the first quarter was 12-4, and it, you know, It's not something that they want to do, especially as they're at the halfway point in the season. And, you know, plenty of time. I think that's why Katrina's keeping it calm at the moment. 5 minutes. Let's see what they're made of here in the second quarter.
Big differential there that we had on the bottom of your screen. The difference with the 3 ball, 4 of 6 Melbourne. Sydney 0 from 4.
They've had some good looks. I mean, I think for the season, they're only shooting at about a 28% clip. Melbourne Boomers, they're shooting it way above at the moment. Their average for the season is 30%, so nice to see that.
Scherf fighting hard in the low block. Good intent here from the Flames. Have to settle for the tough jump shot for Swagmire Belger. George with the rebound. Izzy Wright dribbles into trouble, and Scherf was away to it. Now they've got numbers on their side. Underneath, Mansfield dumps it out to Burton, who picks up contact.
They had an advantage and they almost lost it. It was a 2-on-1 that became almost a, you know, Allison probably put Paul Lauren Mansfield in a no-win situation there, going up against the length of Kayla George there, and then Nat Burton had to find something out of nothing, but credit to the Flames, they're now at the foul line.
It was hard work, but they got there.
Yeah.
Last 2 years playing in France and Germany. Nat Burton, great to have her back in the league this year. (37-18) 19 now, I should say, after that free throw. 4:26 to play. The Boomers go to their bench. Salabeck back out there. Caratiana was wide open for a while. Eventually found her, but she couldn't knock it down. Scherf at the top of the key. Intent on getting to the hole. She did that. And she misses out too. The Boomers take it up the other end. They've got options to choose from. George just drags it back out and says we'll settle it down. Caratiana's got other ideas and she can't make it work either. Got the rebound. Back out to Beck.
I think Katrina Himmett from the second quarter is going to have defensive clip after defensive clip after defensive clip about poor closeouts. You know, Nat Burton there with just a poor closeout, which allowed that shot.
Maley rattles in and out. Nice offensive rebound, Burton. Maley was open again. They settle with Scherf at the elbow. There's Maley fighting hard for it, but couldn't come up with it that time.
And she's fighting hard for it, but she's also the only one going to the offensive glass. I mean, they're only shooting at 31% from the field. You've got to have more girls crashing the boards.
She's taken out by Katrina Hibbert. Nat Burton comes out too. Kira Rowe back out there for Sydney. Her first season with the Flames. George, turn and shoot. A little too easy there. 6 points on 3 of 6 now for Kayla George. Melbourne are putting a good number on the board here before half-time. Sydney are their own worst enemy. Again. Oh, that's 10 turnovers in the first half.
Jack, I'm not even their coach, and I'm getting frustrated watching this right now. I could only imagine what Coach Hibbert is thinking right now, except for wanting to get out there herself and play.
You have to keep banging the desk.
I'll throw it in a minute.
I know you will. I know you will. Right. 3 more. 45-19. Boomers have made their move in the second period. And now there's a big gap between these two. Swagmire Belger got inside.
Tough, I'll respect that. Nice little inside-outside. Was able to then blow by 1, come up against Kayla George. Almost jumped into her, absorbed the contact. And huge finish, loved it.
Sydney want to try and salvage something out of this last 2 minutes. Give them some momentum going in as George is fouled. Hard landing too. Yep. Foul by Carly Bogue. Just got feet caught up. Yeah, just tripped on the right foot of Carly Bogue. Another warm day in Cairns. So
yeah, the humidity probably plays a factor as well. But again, I feel like I'm a broken record, Jack, but defensively, just sloppy. No one, you know, Kayla, yep, had a great opportunity there, but no assertiveness down on the block defending her. No one really, you know, Bogue is a big body, yeah? You can bang down there with Kayla and, you know, make it a bit harder for her.
And she goes 1 of 2, Kayla George. Leads the Boomers. Points scored this year, and she'll sit down. She's got 7 tonight. Averaging 15 for the season, but still a long way to go in this game. Bogue for 3. Misses, and the foul for Sydney. Off the rebound as well.
I tell you what this lead is allowing is, considering that the Melbourne Boomers have 5 games in 8 days, it's allowing for easy rotation. I mean, he's only rotated 8. I think he could rotate pretty much the whole bench if he wanted to pretty soon, because the way Sydney are playing, unless they change something quick, it's going to be a very long night.
Full roster for Guy Malloy to utilise tonight. Sydney going in without Sinead Greaves. Not every team's got a full luxury to, the full luxury of a full roster, I should say. Nakasoglu blocked. Big time.
Nice little hesitation and go, but obviously David and Goliath there.
Kalani Purcell had other ideas.
Nakasoglu actually reminds me of like an Angela Marino, who obviously played for Adelaide and played for New Zealand in the Olympics. But that type of player, short in stature, but I don't think she's as quick as Angela was by foot, but got the ability to shoot and penetrate. She reminds me very much of Marino.
Oh, she can certainly shoot. She put the ball on the floor there and picked up the foul. Graduate of the Florida Gators. Funa Nakasoglu. There she is, spot up 3 from a mile away. This is deep, and the Boomers scrapped for the ball and couldn't keep it alive. Tony Farnworth into the game for her first minutes.
Tony's been in this league a long time. You know, she played with the Adelaide Lightning and obviously from New Zealand, but also played for the Perth Lynx, and he was in that drought for a very long time where they didn't get many wins at all, and then finds herself at a club like the Melbourne Boomers at the tail end of her career and still being able to contribute.
Life member now of the WNBL. Rebound by Purcell. So the Boomers have got 1 full offensive set to work with. Beck fighting hard down low. Worked hard to get position and then got the foul.
Good read there, Jack. You should coach, man. But she did. She saw she had the smaller Nakasoglu on her and just had a staggered screen coming away, so a double down pick, and was able to curl because she knew her defender was trailing, but then sat in the paint and was able to draw that foul.
Katrina Hibbert spoke about that in one of the timeouts. Said they are trying to post up our smaller guards, so it's a tactics that's working for them. Farnworth misses out. So 10 seconds to play. O'Hare had the right idea, but she turns it over as well. Long skip pass. Magbagor, brilliant. Got it down to Farnworth on the stroke of half-time. Ezzy Magbagor at her very best. And the Melbourne Boomers are at their very best. Take a look at this.
Three-way, nice little bit of athleticism there by the Melbourne Boomers. Great teamwork.
48-21. It is a commanding 27-point lead at halftime. And the Boomers continue on their good form. Too good for Canberra on Tuesday. We keep talking about the big stretch of games they've got coming up over the next 8 days. Well, this gives them a luxury going into half-time. Let's get down to Megan Huswaite, who's got Tess Madgen with her.
I am with Tess Madgen. Tess, Melbourne piled on the points, but also punished Sydney in that second quarter.
Yeah, we're really looking to focus on our defence. We're the best defensive team in the league, so we just want to keep working on that and then push the ball down the other way.
You've got a crazy schedule coming up over the next few days. Will we see the rotations flowing thick and fast in the second half?
Yeah, it's been awesome. Everyone's coming in and doing their job, so, you know, it's a real pleasure to be playing out there at the moment.
Thanks, Tess. Good luck.
Thank you.
She's had a very good first half, Tess Madgen. So the Melbourne Boomers, 61% from the field, 60% from outside the arc. Absurd shooting numbers.
Sensational. I mean, take nothing away from the Melbourne Boomers in terms of their shooting percentage, but I think the Sydney Flames are just disrespecting them. They're not playing any assertive defense, which is allowing those shot opportunities that they're getting. And then offensively, lack of ball movement, lack of cutting on with intensity shows why they're shooting at that percentage. It's tough shots against a great defensive outfit like the Melbourne Boomers. I don't think the halftime address is going to be that great, like Katrina hit it.
You'd love to be in the rooms, wouldn't you? So here's our Chemist Warehouse highlights from the first half. All Melbourne early on. It was a statement of intent in many ways in the first 5 or 6 minutes from the Boomers.
Yeah, and it's nice to see that not one person has dominated. They've actually got a nice spread of scorers. Madgen with 7, Mag Bagor with 9, George 7, Garrick 8, Caritiana with 5, and then everyone that's come in has also scored as well. So that's been nice for the Melbourne Boomers not to have to rely on one player, but also makes it tough for the Sydney Uni Flames because you think you're going to get a break when perhaps one of the 3 stars sits down, but then someone else shows up. But hopefully the Sydney Uni Flames have something to show for, a bit of pride perhaps of wearing that uniform, because it is a stellar club. Lots of championships have been won and they come out to play in the second half.
So the Boomers 48-21 leading in dominant fashion, and we're seeing here some of their first half highlights. Maddie Garrick has just done what she needed to do, and how is this for a way to finish off the first half? Mag Bagor down to Farnworth, and it puts the exclamation point on a perfect first half for the Boomers.
(48-21), really, really big performance. The way they're shooting the ball has been a sight to behold in this first half for the Boomers. Let's get to Megan Huswaite with some news coming out of halftime.
Well, guys, there was a collective gasp last night in the WNBL with Southside Flyers veteran Rachel Jarry going down with a knee injury in the last 40 seconds of the Flyers win. But I am the bearer of good news. I can tell you that she's seen the doctor and had scans today, and there is no structural damage to that knee. She's going to miss a few games, though, but is hopeful of being back in time for a finals campaign with the Flyers. But yes, that scream last night when she went down was haunting, so great news for Rachel Jarry. No structural damage to that knee, and we'll see her again in WNBL 20.
That is fantastic news, Megan. Thank you very much. I can see the smile on your face, and Jenny, I could see the smile on your face too, because it didn't look good last night.
Oh, it didn't. I watched the game and I was just grimacing. That screech of a sound that came from her, I just expected the worst, and I'm just glad, considering the run of injury she's had, especially with her knee and obviously with the concussions, that she's A-OK.
And she's become a very important part of the secondary lineup for the Flyers as well in this season. So Cheryl Chambers will miss not having her.
No, having a two-time Olympian coming off the bench and also, as we talked about, working for Victorian Police isn't a bad one to have.
No, exactly right. Now, a massive thanks, and we've said this every broadcast of the Chemist Warehouse WNBL, a massive thanks to the Queensland Government and to Queensland as a whole for being our host at WNBL 20. And from the Great Barrier Reef and its tropical islands to the lush rainforest and the World Heritage listed national parks, the once quiet coastal town of Townsville has merged into a modern metropolis. Yeah, it has. You can fill your days exploring land or sea, and the Melbourne Boomers recently took advantage of this.
So we've just come out here on the strand today. We've been paddleboarding with Jade, our instructor. She was great. We did a bit of yoga on the paddleboard, which was something new. And yeah, today's an off day for us, so we're just kind of relaxing and seeing what Townsville has to offer. It's a beautiful place, so we're really excited for what we're doing today.
Outside of basketball to balance, I like to do some art, so it's been really cool to see the street art of Townsville. And we went to Castle Hill the other day. It was real beautiful. I didn't realise Townsville was as big as it was.
For me personally, it was like a really exciting opportunity, and I've never been up to Northern Queensland before, so yeah, I was really hyped about it, and it's been great so far.
Hard life for some, isn't it? The Melbourne Boomers just having a little bit of downtime in between games.
I think all teams are enjoying it. If you were to ask the question as to whether the players want to go hub style for the 2021 season, I think most would say yes, because sun on their off days, a little bit of tan, and wearing their swimwear on the social media has been the sight to behold for the WNBL. But hey, I would too if I had bodies like that.
Why not? Absolutely. A big thanks to the Queensland Government, as we mentioned. The Boomers, though, are all business tonight, and they're all business for the next 8 days. They've got 5 games in 8 days, and at the main break, they lead 48-21 at the Chemist Warehouse WNBL.
Welcome back to Thursday Night Basketball. Melbourne Boomers lead the Sydney Flames 48-21 at halftime. His lifeline round, magnificent initiative by everyone involved in the WNBL, and as part of that, in support of the round, the Brydens City Uni Flames are also doing their bit and raising money. During tonight's game, the Flames have pledged to donate $2 for every point scored, and Paul Smith, the owner of the Flames, God love him, will also be chipping in $10 for every Flames rebound, $20 for every Flames block, and $5 for each point by the Flames, and he'll double it if Sydney come away with the win tonight.
Damn,
so they got to rally.
Let's get the stat sheet up, people. There are bigger things at play here. Even our own host, Cam Luke, said he would donate $750,000 if Lizzie Cambage.
How much?
$750. Did I say $1,000?
Yeah. Say, Cam Luke does not have $700.
No. $750 if Liz Cambage this season, not this round, for the rest of this season is to dunk it.
Righto.
And I said I would add $300 to that.
All right, well, put me in for $700 as well.
Done. Lizzie, we're making the call. Southside Flyers, Cheryl Chambers and the WNBL. Allow it to happen, please.
Yeah, absolutely. Another $700 for the kick, Liz. You just got to dunk that basketball. Let's get to Megan Huswaite.
I'll put that money on Zatina Akuso for the dunk. So sending that message out to you, Z. I just spoke to Katrina Hibbert out of halftime, and what Sydney are doing in the second half is resetting. So the scores go back to 0. That's what she's told her players at halftime, and they are taking this second half in 5-minute blocks. Let's see how they go.
Yeah, I suppose Coach Screen in this situation, they probably need to just break it down into small wins.
Yeah, absolutely. Compartmentalise it, leave that first half there. There's nothing you can do about it, and just, you know, take it as it comes. 0-0 is a good analogy to use, and let's see now what they're made of and if they can just slowly peg it back.
Well, there's a win. They forced the Boomers into a turnover out of half-time. Outscored 23-7 in the second period. It's just damaging what the Boomers were able to do, and at times what they were allowed to do. That's what Sydney needs to rectify. Burton working hard on Magbagor, who was having none of it. Big block from Ezzy. The Boomers look to get rolling. Imagine ball on the floor, got inside, rattles in and out. Nice rebound by Maley, who found herself in some foul trouble early. Back out there now. Scherf got Magbagor in the air. Wasn't able to finish. Good defensive pressure from George. Has Garrick trailing on the wing. Catch and shoot. Bang.
And that's the Garrick we know. We've seen a couple of games earlier, and I think I called their last one in terms of that lack of confidence, but that ability to run the lane or, you know, push it hard in transition and pull up with confidence, that's the magic Garrick that we've known to come, and the Melbourne Boomers are wanting to expect every game.
And now she's 3 of 5 from deep. Swagline Bell just short. Imagine comes up with the rebound. And Magbagor working hard, ran the lanes, 2 more. They're a very athletic team, Jenny. When they're up and running and they're playing with confidence, the Boomers, they're so quick in transition.
Yeah, when you've got a 6'4" Ezzy Magbagor running the lane like she does, or the middle of the court, it's a nice luxury. You don't see many big girls running the court like she does.
And then she comes up big defensively. Mansfield will fire.
Ezzy gets the ball. The ball's knocked out. Thank you. 7-21. There was separation knocked back into her hand.
Katrina Hibbert not too happy. See Lauren Mansfield, 1 from 9 from outside tonight.
I'm not sure what the technical foul is for Katrina Hibbert, but perhaps she's playing a little bit tactical here in terms of, you know, standing up for a team, backing them in, and trying maybe to get a little bit of emotion out of her girls. You know, if I can protect them and show a little bit of emotion, then perhaps they can give that in return. But maybe a little chess game here going on.
Maybe.
She's got nothing to lose when you're 20 down.
May as well try it.
30, actually.
30. Yeah. I think they take being 20 down at this stage. Boomers keep talking about what's coming up for them. Bendigo Saturday and the Flyers on Sunday. It's a whopper of a game, that one.
Ooh. We'd love a dunk in that one.
We would.
Yep.
Well, Lizzie, we've raised, what have we raised there? 1,700 between you, Cam, and I. Sure, we can see if we can get Megan to tip a couple of pennies in as well and round that up to an even figure. McGregor up high. And it's off the hands. Last touch though by Burton. So the Boomers will get the ball back. Flames thought it might have been off George last. Yeah. It's a close replay, that one. Imagine stepping back. This is out. Maley with the rebound and puts the ball on the floor and gets the Flames into action quickly. They're trying to hustle away on George. Used their feet sensationally well. Force Maley out of it. Mansfield flicks it through to Burton. Nice pass.
Yeah, nice little flick pass out of the back pocket there from Lauren Mansfield on the back cut in their flow action on the second side.
Caratiana turns it over. Nice steal from Burton. Flames looking for back-to-back buckets. Scherf for three. It's long. Probably not the shot they wanted to settle for.
No, and especially when you're 0-6 from the field is Lauren Scherf. She hasn't even got a point to her name yet. And shooting the three is probably not the best option when you're sitting at 6'4".
Another good rebound from Maley. Went flying in. Mansfield forced back by Caratiana. Swagmeyer Belger from inside the line. That's long as well, and McGregor controls it. 54-26. Thursday night, Chemist Warehouse WNBL basketball, all part of Lifeline round. Imagine finds McGregor, uses their long arms to advantage. You can see that number on your screen there too. Lifeline had some more life-saving calls from Australians in their darkest moments than anyone else, and we're so proud to be supporting them during this round of the WNBL. As George reaches in.
It's nice to see the battle down low. George and Scherf, like George giving her a lot down in that low block, and you can see Scherf has just resisted a little bit, popping out to the short corner, and Kayla just unfortunately just puts a little bit of a hand in to allow Scherf off the hook.
Burton comes out of the game. Nakasoglu back in. Carly Bogue back in too. There she is. Single figures for Mansfield. Pulls up for three. That had a look and jumps out. Even sometimes just the little things, you just, on another night that drops.
Yeah.
Tonight it's just not for Sydney.
It is not for Sydney. It's pretty much how Adelaide was last night against the Southside Flyers. Nothing worked with them, even though they had the return of Ali Wilson and Chelsea Brooke, and Steph Talbot was a little bit better than her previous turnout against the Southside Flyers, but nothing is going right for the Sydney Uni Flames. But some of it is in their control. Sometimes your shots aren't going to fall, but the way you contest, the way you close out, the way you go after the offensive boards or the defensive glass, they're the things you can control, those 1%ers.
Garrett flashes hard at the basket.
And that's just lack of discipline right there.
When you see the frustration on Katrina Hibbert's face, it's from things like that.
Yeah, and that is frustration. And to be honest, like, Froggy was an exceptional shooter in her career. League MVP. Defense probably wasn't on high on the pecking order of Katrina's scout in terms of, but
shot the ball that well.
Oh, she was a phenomenal shooter. But these girls are definitely better than what they're showing tonight.
Nice boards from McGregor. Here's Garrick looking dangerous from outside the arc. This is there. McGregor again fighting for it, but guess who? Maley. She lost the basketball. Imagine off the glass for two. It's all one-way traffic again. Anytime they look like they're making some inroads, Sydney, Melbourne very quickly, pardon the pun, but they extinguish the flame. Soglu falling down, is fouled.
Well, I mean, statistically, if we look at the differences between the two teams, I mean, glaringly the score, shooting percentage, 26% to 58, but also the turnovers. You know, Sydney have 10 turnovers, which have probably all contributed to points down the other end for the Melbourne Boomers.
Hands from George, forces Nakasoglu to look for Burton. She can't muscle it in. Imagine. Got the coat hanger on the way through. No call.
Oh, I think she got a tech there, though.
I think there's a call eventually.
9 on the hurdle, technical foul. One shot, ball
But it's not one that Tess wanted.
Tess, come and talk to me. Come and talk to me.
Love it. A little bit of aggression here.
I did not see what happened on that side of the play, and I will
Tess a
always
little bit frustrated with the no call, perhaps on the defensive rebounding play there, and just
something happened on that
letting
side,
the referee know in a certain way, perhaps language, that she wasn't happy.
She'll go to the bench. Stella Beck comes in. So how does Guy Malloy manage the game out from here, Jenny? With respect to Sydney, but they've got this one under control, Melbourne, given the workload they've got over the next week.
Well, first of all, put the two girls, Brewster and Tony Adu, who have not played yet, put them in. What do you got to lose now? You're up by 40. I mean, yes, they're up there to have paddleboard swims and be in the sun, but they're also there to play, and there's no other opportunity than now to give them that. And you never know what might happen, and because they've got another 3 games in the next, 5 days, these girls that are playing now need their rest. And whilst they want to stack the stat sheet, they've got to be smart because they've got some tough games coming up. So put them in, I say.
I reckon we might very well see that at the back end of the game. Farnworth had a good look. And the Boomers inbound. Garrick thought about it. Instead they swing the ball. Farnworth looked for George. Shot clock about to tick down, and it beat them before they could get it away.
Nice little disruption there by the Sydney Uni Flames to go into a 2-3 zone there, and Melbourne Boomers just passed up a couple of shots that they had. Perhaps they were open and forcing the turnover.
Let's get to Megan Huswaite courtside.
I'm just looking across at Bendigo coach Tracy York. Her Spirit are winless to this point in the season, and she looks to me emotionally conflicted because they play Melbourne on Saturday and Sydney on Sunday, and I think she's scared and excited all in one.
She may very well be.
Well, I guess the only thing for Bendigo is the only way is up, really. I mean, they're going to get a win. It's going to happen at some point, you would think, and it's potentially might be against one of the top teams that are just going to come out and go through the motions one night. So, you know, the likes of Tessa Levy and their crew have to continue to push and play with professionalism and push these teams.
No game for Bendigo tomorrow, so a chance for them to rest up. They'll be playing Saturday and Sunday, as Megan said. This rebound, Davidson turns around and is fouled. She's got free throws to come.
Great hustle here by Davidson. Nice little fadeaway.
2 shots.
And that's also the difference, you know, the Boomers are getting more than one, unlike the Sydney Uni Flames, to the offensive glass, which is helping them as well.
Second season at the Boomers for Penina Davidson.
Lose right now, you're down by 40 points or thereabouts, and you might as well start to try some things. I'll give it a crack as well.
Yeah. Certainly helped them cover some of the loss of Alice Koenig. From a rebounding point of view, she's been huge for them and has taken that responsibility on. Mansfield likes to look at this matchup on Davidson, but couldn't find the opening. Got it back and bombs away. She's up to 8 points. Alison Schwagmeyer-Belger leads there. Tally with 12. Mansfield with 8 points. Go with 3 assists. Beck got to the free throw line. That's a nice move and a good finish too. Good touch.
Yeah, great job. Just a rip hard through drive down the lane. But again, nice drive by Alison Swagmeyer-Belger. But down the other end, can't close out to save themselves. And that's what's hurting them big time in terms of the deficit that they face.
One shot.
It's a good drive with good intent. She makes the extra. Reigning 6th woman of the year in the WNBL. Swagmeyer-Belger. Garrick almost lost the ball and almost lost it again. Has it under control. George to Garrick, and that's a hard foul.
I like that though. She fumbled, she got it, she fumbled again and found her sister in Kayla George, and just that give and go.
Yep.
Classic fundamental basketball, nothing flashy, but the give and go, pass and cut, something that's very underrated in our game, but something that Andrew Gaze was incredibly good at in his career. Loved a point or two, that man, but the give and go, classic.
They always find a way to find each other, don't they, Maddie Garrick and Kayla George? They're roomies together in the bubble.
Co-captains as well. Crazy as one another.
Yeah, sure. Good to see Maddie Garrick. Hasn't missed a beat. Had pretty significant ankle surgery in the off-season. She calls it a new ankle now. It's been a long, lingering injury.
Yeah, we spoke about the first game. I called the Sydney Flames and the Boomers when they first met in round 1, and it was always going to be a long struggle for her. She had 3 months off, and to find your feet, you want rhythm straight away, and you could see her getting frustrated, but now it's just starting to come without much effort, which is nice to see, and also that is nice to see from Lauren Mansfield.
3 more, and improves their shooting stats. Up to 21% now. Beck looking for Magbagor, found her, and Izzy did everything but finish. Mansfield starting to feel pretty good about the way that she's shooting the ball. First to Swagmeyer-Belger. She fights hard for it, gets it back, and gives them another look. Mainly for the mid-ranger. This is the best they've looked offensively all night.
Yeah, I wish they'd just come out with this punch in the first quarter. A nice little different effort, but it's all coming off the backs of Annalie Maley and Alison Swagmeyer-Belger.
Imagine wide open. He's off target. Magbagor reels it in. Shot clock down to single figures. Beck baseline. Maley, great energy. Good read on the play too with the interception. That's last touch by the Boomers. So luckily for the Flames, they'll retain possession.
Got a nice little shot clock here, 13 seconds, I believe. Allows them a great opportunity to get a baseline out of bounds here, and a good look before the end of the third quarter.
That's a good breakdown, and I guess that's something for Katrina Hibbert to take out of this third quarter. They've outscored the Boomers by 2. Their second quarter was not a good one, and it explains a lot of the margin as it sits. Sheriff's been trying all night from out there. This is out. Maley got it back, and Swagmeyer-Belger fouled on her way to the basket.
Again, great hustle by those two. They're just willing. They're just not wanting to give up. And you know, I think Katrina Hibbert recruited Swagmeyer-Belger for that reason. Just her leadership, her want, her drive, and her tenacity, never to give up. And she's just trying to implore the rest of her teammates to do the same thing. But I swear, Annalie Maley, I don't think these statisticians are doing a great job. I'm pretty sure she just got that offensive rebound, but she's only got 6 rebounds to her name, or 7 now, but I swear she has so many more than that.
She's so impressive to watch with her intent and her desire. Magbagor, from one end of the court to the other, she was just gliding her way along the floor.
You you'd be happy as a coach if you had an athletic big like that in Ezzy Magbagor. The ability to bring up the ball like a point guard and get herself to the rack. Love it. Absolutely love it. Imagine her in full flight.
Well, the best is still yet to come, I think, for Ezzy this season.
Is it? I mean, male basketballers, they don't really peak in age till around 27.
Yeah, she's
27.
21.
Plenty of time.
She's already won a WNBA title.
The future is bright. It'll be as big and as exciting as she wants it to be.
Particularly going into an Olympic year next year as well. It's huge for Sandy Brondello to have her in the form that she's in. What can Annalie Maley conjure up here? She got something away. She thought she was fouled. Official didn't share that view. So a better third quarter from the Sydney Flames. Some of the beautiful night pictures of Cairns. Part of our hosts of WNBL 20. Some street food to take in on a night off. The Boomers will well and truly earn their feet after tonight. Let's get down to Megan Hustwaite courtside.
Well, Katrina Hibbert opened her three-quarter time address with this: "We're up by 2. And if you're watching at home wondering, well, hold on, they trail Melbourne 67-42, it's because everything was reset after half-time, and she's just looking at me now, giving me the two-finger salute. Nothing rude, just telling me Sydney are up by 2 because they won that third quarter.
Well, that is very true, and she did say that at half-time, that it was 0-0. Let's start again. Mansfield had a big third quarter. She continues on. She's now got 14 points. Shooting the ball well, 4 of 6. It's these little wins, and there's another one. As they turn it over, Mansfield in the open court. Adds 2 more. 5-0 run to start the last quarter for the Flames.
Nice little hit, nice little show on the score. They're in a bit of a 1-2-2 in terms of a zone, and it's just creating a little bit of disruption for the Melbourne Boomers.
Garrett works back to Madsen. Now Magbagor in the low block on Scherf. Had right cutting. Just couldn't lay it up. Maley reels it in. Miscommunication there from the Flames.
And that hurts. You know, 5-0 run, you get a great board like that, and you just come down and throw it out of court. You know, they're the little things.
Izzy Wright subbed out. Katrina Hibbert is trying to take away little things from this last quarter and the second half. It was the second quarter where the damage was done. 23 points to 7 the Boomers put on. Put a big gap between these two. Garrick worked hard to get to the corner. Hits the front of the rim. Last touch by the Flames. Boomers are having a few smiles out there.
That's a luxury that you can when the scoreline is. But they have to just be careful here. You know, you can't take it for granted, the lead, and you want to be able to make sure you can get some rotation in through your bench now as you start to wind down the clock. Guy Malloy, not one for smiling, ever, ever. I ask him all the time, can you just smile? Look like you're enjoying yourself.
You think they were down by 15?
I call him the Greg Popovich of the WNBL. But, you know, he's a man on a mission. He's been in the league 8 years now, and without that elusive WNBL championship that I think that they've probably had the roster a couple of times to get, and no doubt it's in the back of his mind, and perhaps this year is the year.
Has proved very elusive for him. This may be the year. Nice hand, Swagmeyer-Belger. Strips George of the ball and head down to the bucket. She's taking a bit of responsibility on herself.
I mean, where was this tenacity in the first quarter? I mean, it's great now, and hopefully they can, you know, grow this into their next game that they have. And but these are the things that they need to start in the first quarter. Their aggression.
One shot.
They're running into offense, and just that little bit of tenacity that they've lacked the first 3 quarters.
She now leads all scorers. Swagmeyer-Belger with 19. Flames a 7-0 run to start this last term. Boomers just like to make this possession count. Imagine from outside. He's off target, and there's Swagmeyer-Belger off to the races once more, and again, head down all the way to the cup. Gets another foul.
I wish her wing players, I don't know who was on the wing there, but I just wish she'd run with her and go a little bit deeper, drag right into that corner, because that'll drag the defensive player on the strong side just a little bit more, opening up the lane perhaps for her to get to the bucket a little bit easier.
Nice footwork from Maley. Got past Caratiana, but didn't lay it up.
And that's probably the only thing that she needs to add to her game, is that little bit of finesse. She's got the tenacity in terms of the want and the drive and that 1% blue collar, but just that ability to finish and add that skill set to her game is just going to take what she offers to another level.
67-49. Flames have got Bendigo on Sunday as McGregor helps herself to 2 more. Perth on Tuesday. So 2 very winnable games for Sydney, who will be 2-7 after tonight. Spin move from Kira Rowe off the window with the left hand.
Nice, Rowie. Love it. Really good job by her. She's come in this last 4th quarter and I think been quite impactful. She didn't start the game too well, probably didn't get that much opportunity, but considering she's come from the Southside Flyers last year, but she rode the bench quite a lot, but probably learnt a lot. I think she's been great in this 4th quarter.
Part of that all-conquering under-19 World Championship team. With Annalie Maley in that. The 17s, it's a fair lineup. Her, Monique Conti, Jazz Shelley, Ezzy.
Isn't that exciting, though, for the Opals program and what's to come in the next era as it transitions to some new players, and it's exciting.
Well, Guy Malloy's seen enough. Mansfield fills it up, and she's got 19. And he wants to talk about it. 6 minutes 48 to play. Game's still in control from a Boomers point of view, but they've certainly allowed the Flames to control the second half of the 3rd quarter and this final quarter as well.
So this game is still going to present us challenges.
Izzy McGregor, 17 points. Presence inside with 8 rebounds too.
Yep.
She's always in the game.
She is, most definitely, and she's starting to find her groove. The first couple of games, I thought She was probably a little bit jet-lagged, coming back from the WNBA title with Seattle Storm, and now she's in a groove. She's almost averaging a double-double for the season, and was huge for them in the win against Caps the other night. 18 points and 13 rebounds, and just continuing not only her dominance on the offensive end, but like that, those blocks and that length to be able to protect the paint. Now we just need a dunk from her this season as well.
Wouldn't that be good? She had 16 and 11 when they played in round one. She's got 17 and 8 tonight.
And the thing I like about Ezzy too, in terms of if we talk about young basketballers and the decision that they've got to make in terms of going to college or staying in Australia, I like that she stayed in Australia. You know, she had the opportunity, looked like she was going to go to UConn and be coached there, and it would have been a huge opportunity for her. But I also like that she's chosen a different path and come into a league of women and learnt by the likes of Kayla George around her and other players, and stayed home and got better that way.
Megan, you were taking a listen to Katrina Hibbert during that timeout.
Well, Katrina Hibbert had a smile on her face, and there was energy, and there was a feeling that the momentum may have started to shift. Schwagmeyer, Belger and Mansfield leading the scoring in this game, getting around their teammates at the break. And Hibbert adding, we've gone from them being the best defensive team in the league to they can't guard us. So the energy certainly changed in the Sydney camp.
Sure has, and you can see it with the way they're playing. Scherf misses. Magbagor falls down hard.
And that's the great thing about our game, right, is it's a game of momentum swings. And Melbourne Boomers have probably just got into a little bit of a lull, thinking, yeah, we're up by 40, we can cruise a little bit. And Sydney have just taken advantage of that in this last fourth quarter.
It's the athlete mindset, though, isn't it? I mean, the obvious question is to say, well, Sydney, where was this in the first quarter? But this is the athlete mindset. That's why sports psychologists will have a job for a very, very long time. Nice hand, Schwagmeyer, Belger, and the Flames get the ball. That's good defensive play.
It was, and I still like that she's fist pumping and she's getting amongst it. You're down, you know, by a fair whack and probably facing defeat, but let's never say never. But, you know, the ability that she's still just pushing and wanting and competing. I love that. There's hard work. We can all work hard, but she's just a competitor. And sometimes you can't grow that. That's just an innate thing, and she definitely has that.
Maley and Beck scrap for the ball on the floor. Boomers will get the ball back, but you can see she's always trying. She's trying to bring energy, trying to bring the hustle, Annalie Maley. 22 years of age too, so still a lot of growth in her game. Magbagor falling away. The nice two with a soft touch. 73-54. Boomers have scored from the last two possessions. Magbagor reels in rebound number 9. Imagine blows past Schwagmeyer Belger, but couldn't access Kayla George. Timeout by the Flames. 5 minutes and 3 to play before the end of this one. Where have you got the Boomers right now, Jenny?
Oh, I don't know. You know, I think so much attention has been on the Southside Flyers. For me, when you look and you sit back, you see Caps. I think they've been phenomenal. They've just been flying under the radar because all the attention is with the light blue, and they're just getting it done. And I love that they've got their veterans, and you've got the likes of Kelsey Griffin coming off the bench. Melbourne Boomers, they're around it, but everyone has to be firing on all cylinders, I think, for them to be a contender, an honest contender.
So make sure you hit your screens. Sure, if you pop over the top, you sprint back into a butt screen. As she's coming, see if you can't get on the rim. You dive. If you get help from here, kick, Fundi, you get your feet set as well. All right. So let's get some execution with some size, and then we go small. We'll get some 5 out again.
Okay, yeah. So we're back to running like 3s and stuff.
Yeah, 3s and 2s, and look at your, whatever that's Leon. All right, we are. All right, go. Hey, we're drops. We're drops.
So still trying to conjure up something offensively. It didn't click for them in the first quarter. At times it clicked during the second, but when it mattered, it was, as you can see there with the breakdowns, it was Melbourne 23 points to 7. But again, outscored Melbourne in the third quarter, outscoring them in this last quarter.
And then the positive, I guess, you can take away from a game like this. No doubt they'll go back to the drawing board as we see Allison doing her lovely spin move that she likes to do, almost on every penetration, but just misfiring there on the finish.
Here's Garrick. Got past Swagmeyer-Belger, couldn't lay it up with the left. McMcGaw put it back in, and she's got 23. And 10 rebounds to go with it now. Another double-double for Izzy McMcGaw. That's a good find. Scherf and Nakasoglu have found some space underneath. Now imagine with the response. She's been searching for that mid-range shot all night.
I love that. Yeah, great decision, because you could hear Katrina Hibbert talk in the timeout that there drops in their pick and roll defense, which that means the big's going to sag off in the pick and roll situation. So great job of Tess coming off that to read that the opportunity is to do the pull-up J.
Burton looks a little bit sore, but let's have a look where the contact came. It wasn't initially from...
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I never like to watch these things because I never...
Oh, I saw you look away with the Rachel Jarry replay at halftime.
So you can look and then feed me the information, but I'm not sure what happened, whether she twisted something, got a flick in the face, just composing herself.
I think she's okay now, which is the main thing. Maybe a little knock to the throat. She was grabbing there.
It was a nice little pump fake. Up faked, nice little step through. I think the referees might be looking at some form of a replay here. I'm not sure, as both teams form a huddle to discuss the last 3 minutes of the game.
Give me back one more. I just want to see the action one more time. I'm happy with the JK. I just want to clear one more part. I'm looking here, jump. So she's making an attempt to block the ball. She's not seeing the ball. She's just making a play to try and do something with her hand. I don't have any deliberate action. Yep, okay. We're going to remain where we are. You're going to go back and report to the table. Yeah. Thank you. Happy for you to report to the table. No upgrade, regular foul.
Nice little dialogue there between the coaches, the referees, Jack, and I think it's a fair call. I think there was no malicious intent from Kayla George, just a follow through and attempting to block the shot, and I think her arm just swung through there, but a good call, and now Nat Burton sees herself to the line. And an area of her game that she just hasn't got any better at. She's not known for her free throw shooting. She does get there a little bit, but shooting subpar of 70% on the season and for her career.
She makes the free throw there. 20-point lead to the Boomers, who will improve after tonight to 6 wins and 2 losses. And a big batch of games coming up, which we'll learn a lot about them. Here's Garrett. And hits the front of the rim. She just leant back on a little bit. Nakasoglu doesn't need much of an invitation to jack it up herself.
She doesn't. Loves the shot, that one.
Loves to get it away. Good on her, why not?
Exactly.
Especially if you can shoot it the way that she does.
Good.
Imagine push back by Scherf. She's got 6 to work with. She's determined, Tess. She got there.
And then she's asking for them to call a foul very nicely, I think is what she said.
Still wants that whistle. Play on the call. McGregor
Yes.
came from behind and closed it down. Mansfield, more.
I don't have any extension.
Lauren Mansfield's had a big second half for the Flames.
Indeed she has, taking her tally to 21 points for the game. And shooting 5 of 8 from deep. But again, Alison Schwagmeyer-Belger doing a great job there on the offensive glass to allow Lauren that opportunity.
She showed her wares. We know that she's such a great provider as a point guard. Third in the competition for assists this year and fourth in the competition coming into tonight for 3 points made. Well, that will improve after 5 in the one game, but it's really been Lauren Mansfield and Alison Schwagmeyer-Belger who have helped lead the way. Chemist Warehouse WNBL. And we've just seen just body language, Jenny, and just little things from Alison. Just saying, come on, let's try and make a game of this.
And I think that's why Katrina recruited her, was that purpose. That's probably the one thing they lacked last season, was that leadership and that grit compared to this year. And I think that's why she's been recruited, and she's showing that. Didn't shoot well in the first half, but has never given up, never give up attitude, and that only can just, you know, I guess ooze and spread within a team, and you can see that here in the second half from the Sydney Uni Flames.
Look at that, just the little pumps of the fist, and that was only a few minutes ago, so the game well and truly in control by that stage. The Illinois native.
26-24.
Izzy McGregor leads all scorers with 23 points. Has 10 rebounds to go with it. Guy Malloy now does go to his bench. Rachel Antonio-Du out there for the last few minutes. Mansfield misses. There's Antonio-Du. She was stripped of it by Schwagmeyer-Belger. The Boomers now in control. Penina Davidson back into the game too. Garrick will sit down. George comes out too. Rachel Brewster out there for her first look tonight. Davidson puts the ball on the floor. Nice set there from the Boomers.
Yeah, nice set indeed. As Schwagmeyer-Belger gets another look at the rim. Just definitely the definition of never give up. But the Boomers down the other end, I'm just looking at the stat sheet now and the minutes played, and interesting that, you know, Garrick, George, McGregor and Madgen well, George is over 30 minutes, but the rest are pushing on 30 minutes, which just surprises me. When you've been up by 40 points, you're up by 20 almost now. The game has never been in contention for Sydney, and I'm just wondering if that's going to come back and bite them in the butt in the next couple of games in terms of fatigue. Perhaps not. They're elite professional athletes, and perhaps they have the fitness, but there's a lot of games in a short amount of time, especially for the likes of George and Madgen, who are a bit older than the others.
Strong rebound from Stella Beck. Haley reaching in. Picks up another foul. That's 4. Katrina Hibbert will leave her out there. So 90 seconds to play. Brewster guarded by Maley. They create the switch, and then Davidson was wide open at the free throw line. Nice vision from Rachel Brewster. It wasn't the first option, but it ended up being the best one. Nakasoglu in front of the Melbourne bench. Off the front of the rim. McGregor soars high, rebound number 11. Good movement. Beck and Antonio-Du spotting up. Brewster fought hard, got it back, and she may get another look at it unselfishly. Shares it up with Beck. Got inside and might have just slipped I think they're on the way through it.
Nah, that should have been
Sure.
another kick. That was a kick to me. She could have penetrated, but she had a nice little pocket pass to give, an extra give to Rachel Brewster, who was sitting wide open on the three-point line. Great job, Ezzy. Kick here, boom, penetrate, then it's another kick as Lauren Mansfield closed out poorly there. You had Rachel Brewster just sitting up ready and pretty, waiting for that three-point shot.
So not long left. Guy Malloy just maybe using this as a chance for some of his younger players. Rachel Brewster, 23 years old. Rachel Antonio, 24. Out there now too. Just a chance to educate them.
I think it's great. I mean, this is the luxury when you have blowouts, that you can rotate and give opportunities to these young players, because you can't get better without experience. I mean, sitting on the bench, yes, you can to a degree, but you've got to be out there and in the moment to be actually, you know, get those steps and opportunities under you. And these players deserve it. They're training just as hard and stuff like that. So when it does come to push and shove towards the pointy end of the season, and perhaps, you know, touch wood, someone goes down with an injury or foul trouble, that those players are ready, because they're getting opportunities in games like these to, I guess, build the confidence and trust between the player and the coach that they can be put in.
You just never know with finals this year, especially with the way that the back end of the season shaped, Jenny. It's just game, grand final, basically.
Yeah. And it doesn't really matter where you finish 1 to 4. It's one and done. No second chances this year.
No best ofs this year. Scherf gets a late consolation bucket. Into the pass from Nakasoglu, her first points of the night. So shot clock's been switched off. Davidson for three from long. Strong. That'll give the Boomers bench plenty to cheer about. They've been cheering all night long, Melbourne. And they take a big step forward towards the finals. 6-2 on the season, winners by 22 points tonight. And from very early on in the game, set it up, were able to control terms from there, and they played good, polished basketball.
They did, you know, it was a game of two halves. And Sydney just didn't come out with any punch, and the Boomers ticked off the boxes in terms of playing hard D and knocking down their shots. Shooting 54% clip for the game is massive.
So they'll assemble mid-court, and particularly they'll be discussing that first half and particularly that first quarter. 25-14 in the first, and then in the second, 23-7. Had the game well and truly in control. We are just constantly in awe, Megan Huswaite, of Ezzy Magbegor. Huge again tonight, and she's with you now.
We are absolutely in awe of Ezzy Magbegor. Ezzy, a huge win tonight, a great way to kick off a busy couple of days for the Melbourne Boomers.
Yeah, for sure. You know, we're coming into our pretty tough stretch of the season, and it's great to start off it with 2 wins. You know, Sydney are a great team. We knew they were going to come out with everything and stick with us the whole game, and they did. But credit to our girls for just sticking with it throughout all 4 quarters and just getting the start well, which was, you know, our focus coming into this leg.
I bet you were glad you had such a big second quarter, because Sydney came at you hard in the second half. The message from their coach was to reset, and I think if we go at the numbers, they probably beat you in the second half. So I'm sure you're glad you did the work early.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, Sydney are a great team, and they didn't go away, you know, for the whole game. They stuck with it. They shot well, you know, and that's something that we have to kind of, you know, adjust on the fly real quick. But it was, you know, we stuck it out for 4 quarters, and just, it's great to get the win.
The word tide's been bandied around in WNBL 20. Ezzy, you won a championship in the WNBA bubble.
Yeah.
You did 2 weeks quarantine in Sydney, 2 weeks quarantine in Brisbane, and are now in the WNBL hub. Are you tired?
You know, I think everyone's tired. It's tough for everyone in this situation, you know, just with so many games in such a short period. So, you know, I'm the same as my teammates, as, you know, everyone in the WNBL. So just got to stick with it for the next few games.
Well, we love watching you in full flight. Congratulations on your performance in the win tonight.
Thank you.
23 points, 11 rebounds for Ezzy Magbegor. The shooting numbers came down for Melbourne in the second half of this game, Jenny, but still, I mean, even that clip at the end of the game, there's a lot to like there.
There is, and I love the stats in assists. 27 assists to 12 to the Melbourne Boomers. You know, passes on target, on time, and that allows also the Melbourne Boomers to shoot at that clip. And so credit to them where credit's due in terms of their performance tonight for the 4 quarters, perhaps a little bit lazy in that third. But Sydney Flames definitely much better in the second half than they were in the first, and hopefully they'll take those good moments and put them into their next performance.
Let's get back to Megan. She's got the coach of the Boomers, Guy Malloy, alongside her.
I do, Jack and Jenny. Well, Screeny mentioned during the call that Guy Malloy's got a pretty solid poker face, but he's just been with me here for a few seconds and he's had a fair grin. I reckon you've got a bit to smile about, Guy.
Yeah, look, Megs, I was really pleased with our defence. I think we had them at about 28 points with maybe 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. Then we look neat. It's the stage of the season. We've got to rotate a lot of bodies, and that kind of killed our momentum. And you know, their guards are really good, so they got away from us a little bit, and you know, then we had to put our foot down and go again.
You did the work early, particularly in the second quarter, but in this season it's a marathon. How important is it to get those rotations in? We saw some good minutes from those girls.
Yeah, and you know, it's a great experience, the whole hub thing, and it's different. And you know, keeping your collective motivation and everybody engaged, and keeping players engaged when they might be 4 or 5 minutes a game and having them focused is a whole new challenge. But it's a lot of fun, and the group's been great. They've bought right into it.
It's a lot of fun watching Ezzy Magbagor in full flight. How much do you enjoy coaching her?
Yeah, well, look, I mean, she's just grown in each of the 3 years that we've had her, and I think the big thing for us is, well, imposing yourself on games. So she's always going to take a back seat because that's her personality, and once she steps between these white lines here, we don't want it to be. We want her to be front and centre and driving the team, and I thought she did a great job with that tonight.
So, Guy, finally, how do you celebrate a win in the WNBL 20 hub? Do you have a glass of wine, a row of chocolate? What do you do tonight?
Well, we've got, I think 5 games in 9 days or something like that, so it won't be as big a celebration as I would like, but I think I'll do the Queensland thing, the North Queensland thing, and have a quiet beer or two.
Sounds nice. Well done on the win tonight, Guy. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Melbourne Boomers successful tonight, 86-64. The big players were huge for them early and played a massive role in the result. It sets it up for Sunday against the Flyers. We'll talk about the rest of the weekend, Jenny, and what's coming up in a moment, but you can't help but already jump ahead to Sunday's game.
You're excited by that. That's going to be a huge contest for both teams, but take nothing away from the Melbourne Boomers tonight. They came out of the gates. They've started sluggish in a few of their games in this season thus far, and they were firing on all cylinders. Ashley Karatiana started it off, and then Maddie Garrick followed it through, and then, as we've spoken about, Ezzy Magbagor was sensational again tonight.
Melbourne's prime movers, and we've got some numbers to back this up as well of how important they are. Here are the leading scorers in the game. Magbagor, Garrick, Madgen, George. It feels like those four are going to have big says on how deep Melbourne go in this season.
Well, we saw, you know, when they beat the Southside Flyers, they were all firing on cylinders for those girls. They have to do that to be competitive. Even Penina Davis, and she hit double figures tonight with 10, and Stella Beck had 7. The difference, though, Sydney Uniflames, Lauren Mansfield, and on the back of Alison Schwagmeyer-Belger, they did all they could. But it's the likes of Lauren Scherf and Nat Burton that only had 6 or 8 points between them that really hurt the Sydney Uniflames tonight.
So here's what's coming up over the next few days. As we say, it's hard not to be excited about what is coming up over the next bunch of matches and some big games. As we mentioned, only 17 regular season games left after tonight. Caps and Adelaide in the early game tomorrow. Townsville and Perth in the late game. Bendigo and Melbourne on Saturday afternoon. And then we jump ahead to Sunday. Sydney and Bendigo. Flyers and the Boomers, second game of Super Sunday, and the Fire and Capitals game becomes pretty important for both teams now too.
It does, and the other thing that I like is that 4th spot. Who's going to take it? We know there's separation. We know who's going to be the great 3, but Adelaide aren't playing that great at the moment since they've come out of quarantine and back into the league. Townsville, they're there and around the mark, so who's going to take that 4th elusive spot as well?
Megan Huswaite's been courtside for us all night long. Megan, we've been talking about the Boomers and where we think we've got them. You've seen every single game so far. Where have you got them now? Is 3rd about right for Melbourne at this point?
Yeah, I think so, guys. The thing for me has been Tess Madgen. I think they had a big spot to fill with no Lindsay Allen and no imports this year. We know that LA was the barometer for Melbourne, particularly over the last couple of years. And last season, they missed her terribly when she was injured. So I think Tess has just come in seamlessly. She started the season on fire, had an ankle injury, but she's back firing. And I'm losing my tiny mind about Sunday. I think it's going to be an incredible game. We know Southside is still seething from that loss in round 1. Melbourne have had some good wins, but also a couple of losses in there as well since. So I just can't wait to see what Sunday delivers here in Cairns.
I'm very, very excited. I think we all are, Megan. Thank you very much. That'll be one of our broadcast games for Sunday. You go and catch up with Guy Malloy and maybe have a nice beer to finish off the evening as well. Guy was going to help himself. And I think you should help yourself too. Another outstanding job from you courtside. And I guess now, Jenny, it is all about 3rd and 4th spot in many ways. And we wait and see what this weekend throws up. The ladder could look completely different by then.
Yeah, I mean, this league is just getting better and better. Some games are blowouts, and we've seen that tonight and obviously last night, but there are some contests. Perth Lynx are starting to play some great basketball. They're pushing some teams to 4 quarters. And then you've got the likes of the young Townsville Fire and Shyla Heel, along with Mia Murray and the like, that are just around the mark, and I think are going to be able to push a few teams as well. The league's exciting. Games are great, and we've got some great athletic talent to watch.
We certainly do. Always nice to see you, Jenny. Thank you for tonight, and a big thanks to everyone for joining us as well. All part of Lifeline round here in the Chemist Warehouse WNBL. That number is on your screen. Please make sure that you text it and show your support for Lifeline. Tonight it was the Boomers 86-64 who consolidate their spot inside the top 4. They will be back on the weekend. We will be back tomorrow night. Thanks for being with us. Until then, stay safe. It's the Chemist Warehouse WNBL.